Look how far we've come.
All right, it's Friday, which means it is time for the DMV Soundcheck. Kristen chatted with soul singer and songwriter Allison Balanc.
I know as artists you look at your career and you evolve and change as time goes. Was there a moment or song that really kind of did that pivot for you?
I'm a firm believer that your words and the things that you put energy to manifest themselves. It's like the things that I sang about really started to come to fruition. So
within each artist lies a resilient spirit, one that defies fears with exhibitions of expression. I'm Mo the Most, and as most of y'all may know, I travel a lot. Whether on roads less traveled or off the beaten path, I've discovered there's an oasis around every corner. As an artist, I'm drawn to art wherever I go, and beyond that, to the journey and struggle of those who create that art. This is one of those journeys. This is Opus Travel Art.
I like that. Okay, feels like this is something special. This is DC. R&B, what AB, yeah.
Douglas Commonwealth, aka Chocolate City, has been at the center of my odyssey into becoming the person I am today. The richness of its people, culture, cuisine, and art is one of a kind. And although its heartbeat has always been go-go, native soul singer Allison Balanc is a breath of fresh air to an R&B genre that has always given voice to the spirit of our people.
I think about the day that I saw you. So that fight I had to walk on over. You smiled at me and I felt weak. I never make the first move, but I had to. Looked in your eyes, I had to have you. Worked up my courage so I could speak. You're such a vibe, number to shake. Let it flow. See where this goes. You make me smile.
I caught up with Allison on U Street, the corridor or the shore area of DC. We took a walk down memory lane in the area that played a pivotal role in her development.
So Allison, how has DC helped to influence who you are as an artist?
DC's definitely put me around various creatives, and that keeps me motivated and keeps me inspired. There's so much culture and history here, just
So
like
much.
architecture inspires me. Seeing murals and things like that inspires me.
You're giving a reflection of who you are in your artistry, in your music. What exactly did that come from? Like, what made you so brave enough to be able to reflect who you are in your songs?
Because I feel that everybody has the same struggles in life, and being comfortable with who you are as a person and really loving yourself fully and being the best version of yourself, I think is what everyone's called to do. So I feel that the more transparent and vulnerable I can be, the less alone people feel.
Oh, wow.
Because we all share the same one source of energy. That's
Absolutely.
my personal belief. And so we're never really alone. Everyone's
Never.
connected. So I feel like everything we can do to bridge the gap is necessary. And as artists, I feel like that's one of our responsibilities, is to bridge the gap. So I really try to do that with my music. And as I do that, I am healing the parts of myself that I need to work on as well. And so it's a cycle.
It's therapeutic
for me. Yeah, it's a cycle where I get joy in doing it. The person who's listening gets joy in hearing it. And then it's just hopefully a healing
process.
Healing
It's
process.
a circle. It's just a circle of
Exactly.
life. It's the energy, like you said. It's never
Exactly.
really. Yeah,
Exactly.
I got you. Makes
Exactly.
sense. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Tell me what you playing for me. I'm the man, honey. Sugar iced tea. Sip it lightly. It's the nectars of the.
If you ever hung out in the shore section of DC during the last decade or so, you definitely know about Marvin. Drawing inspiration for its name from iconic soul singer Marvin Gaye, its entire essence reflected the surrounding neighborhood. The few times I was blessed to attend are still unforgettable. Whether on the deck, at the bar, or near the stage, the vibe was always electric. Marvin was a breeding ground for local talent, with a house band that made every performer feel like a star. Shut down since the spring of 2020, I decided to walk Allison down memory lane out front, to discuss her fondest memories of gracing the stage of her hometown landmark.
So Allison, I've been following you for a long time. I used to go on your timeline and see always at Marvin's. Oh. Marvin's this night, Marvin's that night, right? So, like, what does Marvin's mean to you?
Marvin's just a DC staple. It was somewhere that I would love to go and hang out and get a drink and eat, and they would always have good DJs and to go and dance. And then I got the opportunity to start performing here, which was really cool too, because it was like I got to do something I love to do in a place that I really love. So
how did that come about though? Like you were a patron, but then you started to be able to sing. Like what was that transition?
Well, one of my friends was a bartender there, and so he put me in contact with the booking agent, and then the booking agent and I became friends, and then you know, just the rest is history. I had a lot of fun performing there. Made a lot of new friends so many friends I've made at Marvin.
Yeah, that's what's up. Like, how was it like though performing in front of a crowd? Because Marvin's wasn't your first time performing in front of a crowd, right? You know, artists, we create, but expressing that creation sometimes can be tough, like sharing it in front of people. How was that like though?
I feel happy. Like, it really brings me a lot of joy. Any of the nerves that you have, it kind of starts to go away once you open up more. So I'm someone, I actually really enjoy the talking between the sets, which is when I first started performing, that was the part I hated the most. Like, it made me really uncomfortable, but now I like it because it really strings the whole show together, and I like connecting with people in the audience and cracking jokes. And so that's something that for me makes me more comfortable, and I feel like it makes the audience more comfortable, and they end up enjoying it more too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so free of your past, embracing your future, pain doesn't last, it's just a teacher. We're in COVID era right now.
Right.
You recently told me that you pretty much freed yourself from your past as far as your career, stepped out on faith to pursue your passion, and COVID hits. What is that pain that you experienced taught you?
That the universe is always working for our greater good, even when you don't feel it in the moment. And that's something I still grapple with, is just having faith in those moments where things are painful. And sometimes, you know, they're painful, but you know that it had to be a certain way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the universe is always working in our best interest.
Always.
And so that was what I came to realize. Like I was just being strengthened and positioned to really like bet on myself and have faith that like what I was put here to do is enough, and that I need to just fully embrace that and not make any apologies to anyone about it. And
unapologetic, yes.
Yeah, and to own who I am 100%. That's really been the common theme for me during COVID, is just to be unapologetically myself and do what makes me happy. And surround myself with individuals that support that.
Absolutely. What are you looking to get out of all of this performing, this sacrificing for your passion?
I just want to do what I love to do every day. I feel like when you're working in that space energetically, that the opportunities are endless because of the positivity that's going into it. I also see stuff that I've been told from my clients and people at shows, like the level of joy. Like, I've had people actually say to me, like, when they come to a vocal coaching session, they're like, I feel like this is like my therapy. I like love coming here every week. And that just brings me so much joy because it's something that I really love to do. And I actually, the more that I teach, the better I become as a musician as well. So it's everything in this is such a give and take. It's not just it's such a pure reciprocity.
Exchange is very.
It's very pure, and I find that that's what that is most gratifying. And I feel like when I'm in that space, I'm like, I feel like it's a blessing to know exactly what you were put on this earth to do, because I feel like sometimes it can take you a lifetime to figure that out, or you keep trying to avoid it because you're afraid. I'm just very thankful that I know what it is that I was put here to do, and that I'm, even in the times that it is a little scary, that I've continued to push forward. I'm not really someone who gives myself a lot of credit, but I'm gonna give myself credit in this moment and say that I'm thankful that I have continued to move forward and haven't given up. So.
Spiritual exercise through expression. Back against the wall as she looks for direction. At the window to her soul as the world takes a toll. Forced to realign through emotional control. Take a look into her eyes. Find the woman she's supposed to be. Finally realize and know she's free. Free to do a thing, free to let it all hang. Free to never settle for less. Free to sing, no more running from myself when some days get tough. No more shrinking for a man cause they're never enough. Time to let her light shine, let it go and she will find the truth. On the other side, time to move on.
Yeah, everything's an opportunity to grow. And I think if you look at it that way, but it's our ego. That's my biggest struggle, is harnessing my ego and like wanting what I want when I want it. Even when I know instinctively that it's not it. You have to listen to your inner voice. Like, you really have to listen to your instinct. Everyone has their thing that they use as a distraction. Sometimes it's other people, sometimes it's a substance. And that's what COVID really was for me, especially in the beginning, was I had nothing but like time to sit with my thoughts and really start to evaluate stuff that I didn't want to come to terms with. But like I avoided going to therapy for years. I avoided going, and I ended up going in the beginning, and it made a world of difference for me. You start to recognize those patterns in yourself, but then you also recognize them in other people. And I've come to the conclusion, like, especially with who you surround yourself with, if they're not doing the work, because the work is hard. If they're not doing the work, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to change that. There's a difference between people that are doing the work and people that are not. And when they're not, I'm telling you, there's nothing you can do. Like, you just have to like, it's not a judgment thing, but you have to decide, like, what energy you want to have around you.
There's no question that Allison is a black artist whose complexion puts her at an intersection where race and culture collide. So it just made sense that we meet at a location where racial and cultural issues connect and are celebrated. Inspired by the early years of poet Langston Hughes, who worked as a busboy in D.C., Busboys and Poets has been a community hub that supports artists and enthusiasts alike. Whether world-renowned or up-and-coming, poets and performers have taken to their stages to open mics and slams since they opened their doors in 2005. And now, they have several locations throughout the metropolitan area. Lucky for us, the manager at 450K was kind enough to accommodate our journey, so we could discuss Allison's musical inspirations and perspectives on the racial tensions plaguing our country.
Performing here at Busboys, do you remember that occasion, like how it was?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
So that was more of like an open mic night. I did this a few years ago.
They have those like every so often, right?
They do. I think they were having them like every week at one point.
Okay.
And it was just cool to see a lot of like local talent and all that kind of unity and support. And there's such an appreciation for just like black art here, black music, black literature.
That's everywhere.
And it's nice to be in that environment. You feel like almost feel like your ancestors are like
absolutely
right
watching,
here.
Right?
Exactly. So it was a cool experience. Yeah, it was a cool experience.
Cool. So what did you listen to growing up? Because we're all influenced by different,
it's interesting because I have several influences. I listened to a lot of like R&B growing up, a lot of Sade, Mariah Carey, Whitney
makes sense.
Houston,
Yeah.
SWV, all of that. But then I also love classic jazz. So I listen to a lot of like Stan Getz and Dizzy Gillespie,
Okay.
Coltrane, Miles Davis. 'Cause
Nice.
It's very mood driven, and I
Yeah.
love mood driven music. But then I love jazz standards, so I love Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald, Etta James.
Okay.
So I actually discovered, like really came into my own when I realized that I can use the things that I'm inspired by and find a way to mesh them that feels good for me. So I took a lot of my vocal placement and articulation
Okay.
from classic jazz singers. But then I also have a lot of vibrato and I do a lot of runs, which is very much so in keeping with modern day R&B.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I merged the two things that I loved, it's all of a sudden, it's like I had found my,
Gold,
and then it's
yeah.
just like, I found that it just kept getting better and
Nice.
better and better. And it's like, I felt like I had found my voice. And I actually tell that to a lot of my clients. When you're looking to find your voice and figure out your exact style, make a list of who inspires you and find a way to embody those different things in a way that's your own. I mean, not to be a carbon copy, but you know, the things that inspire you help you figure out, you know, yourself and your style and all of that.
Absolutely. During COVID, it feels like, you know, it's all ordained or destined, because right now we're talking about centering blackness for the first time in this country, like a real conversation about it.
Right, right.
So you being a black woman, being a black female artist, how does that make you feel right now? Like, what's some of the emotions that you're going through right now?
I
with
feel
that?
so much just unity and fellowship. Like so many conversations I've had with I've had a lot of black women that are clients and my girlfriends and sisters, and I just feel like we're so unified right now, and it's so much more of an emphasis on lifting each other up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, there's been so much like divide, even just the way black people were brought into this country. And my
Absolutely.
black experience looking the way I do is going to be different from your black experience.
For
Like
sure.
my experience was, you know, I look more on the Eurocentric side of things. So I didn't experience those same types of issues. A lot of the issues that I experienced in my black experience were with other black people.
Yeah.
You know, so I find that now we're really getting to a point where that divide that, you know, white people
Those barriers.
tried to put to keep us separated when we came, the way we were brought into this country.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's diminishing now, and black people are really coming together as a whole, and this appreciation and real love for our culture and for the beauty of it. Like I say this all, I wouldn't change being black for anything. I love being black. I love
Damn
black
right.
culture. I love black.
Damn
I love
right.
it all. I
Yeah.
really, really do. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
And it's such a gift, and there's so much richness in the heritage. And I feel like now people are really just like immersing themselves and appreciating that.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. And I love the unity that's really, really really building between black women. Like so many conversations I've had about like how much we have to be there for each other and lift each other up. And I think it's a great, you know, sometimes things have to get knocked all the way down for them to come back
You gotta
up.
hit bottom sometimes.
You do,
to
because
realize,
then people realize, shit, there's a real problem
you know
here.
what? Yeah.
And I hate that it has
Yeah.
to be that way, but when you think about the people that have unfortunately lost their lives on such a noble climb that's now coming, because like your life serves so much meaning for
So much.
millions of individuals.
Yeah.
And I hate that it had, you know, obviously I don't want anyone to die, but I mean, these have been the catalysts for a lot of change.
Absolutely. I think it's even more of a tragedy or a travesty if we don't take those steps.
I agree.
And use them to catapult us forward.
It has to be, otherwise they died in vain.
Exactly.
And we can't let anybody go
Cannot
out
let
like
that
that.
happen.
We just can't. They shouldn't have
Yeah.
had to die in the first damn
first-
place. And it's unfortunate that it has to get to that point.
Absolutely.
But people, I'm speaking as a human being, as an American, like we have a tendency to get real wrapped up in the status quo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just life in general. We take everything for granted and we don't realize how bad things are until
Yeah.
shit gets really bad. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, you know what, wow, we really need to take action a long time ago.
Yeah.
Why have we let it
For
get
so
to
long.
this point?
Yeah.
But you know, I just believe with COVID in general, I feel like the level of awareness that I feel like it's brought people within themselves to have to spend that much time with your thoughts, for one. The level of empathy to see people like, you know, people are really like starting to like fully appreciate life before that.
Yeah.
And just like the
Took it for
important, like just
granted.
the granted of like you
Yeah.
have income coming in and like stuff like that, like things that we took so for granted.
So-
That sometimes, like I really do believe in life, like things have to sometimes fall all the way apart for
Yeah.
them to be built back up in a better way.
Better way.
And I honestly feel like this year, that's what's going on in the entire world. That's the energy. It's like, all right, it's all getting broke down, so we can build the system better.
How appropriate is it that's 2020 year vision? I mean, it's literally like, okay, look at yourself. Look at yourself. You have no choice now. Everybody,
yeah, you don't, and look
at yourself right now.
That's the tough work.
Yeah,
that's hard work. It's not easy. Like people think that like evolving spiritually, evolving as a person, some like experience that's like always sunshine and rainbows. But it can get really ugly and really
dark.
Yeah, it can. But what happens on the other side? You know, everything has to restore its balance. That the flip side of that is going to be something that is so much better than what it was before.
And there it is, the word balance. The energy, it's all about balance. So no matter how dark things can get, you realize there's always going to be a lighter side to it.
Yep, that's a fact.
You know?
That is a fact. You just have to keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, and so many people are trying to get free right now, and they're starting to feel that freedom. And I think that, well, I know that your music exudes that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Seriously,
that means a lot.
It really does. And I just can't wait to see what's going to happen next.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited to see what the future is going to hold.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Well, I appreciate you joining us.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly. It's purposeful. You're supposed to be here right now. So
right. I agree.
Thank you for showing up for Opus Travel Art.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
Free of my past, embracing my future. Pain doesn't last, it's just a teacher. Free of my past, embracing my future. Pain doesn't last, it's just a teacher.
To be free, free to move, moving through space, each step taken at her own pace, uninterrupted, unapologetic, undeterred. Allison has figured out a formula for her existence in this moment that allows her to be creative, motivated, grateful, and yes, to be free. Till next time, I'm Mo the Most, and this is Opus Travel Art.